It doesn't matter how loud you speak, Cliff. It doesn't make any difference. Oh, go for a restart.
Brad,
Hey.
let me see. I'll be right back.
Okay, good. Hi, Nate. How you doing? That looks better.
Can you hear me any better?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, sweet. All right. I get to interview Santa Claus today, which I'm really excited about.
Where's he? What's that behind?
What's what?
Are you on like a 1984 3G Nokia phone or a Sony Ericsson or something?
No, I'm on the top of the line. Android Galaxy.
You're not top of the line, my friend.
Well, I do what I can. How you doing today?
I am doing great. How are you?
Doing well. So the beauty of this podcast, it's raw, real, just the way that you like it. And before we even get started, if you could introduce yourself to the audience, who you are, what you do, and I'll share a little bit more. The audience that I at least think our audience is they're entrepreneurs who are going after their big dreams, their big goals, and want support along the way with other big entrepreneurs going after their dreams and their goals. So I know you have a big dream, which I'm excited about.
Mm-hmm.
That's partially why we even connected in the first place. But yeah, share about yourself and your amazingness.
Well, part of my amazingness is people, which includes people like you and all of them. My amazingness comes from the realization that people are the solution to the biggest problems in the world. And by working together, we can bring our unique miracles, each and every one of us, and join those together into a much bigger miracle that can solve those world problems, ranging from solving the housing crisis for homeless people and for people who can't afford to buy homes, through to medicine that actually cures and helps prevent illnesses, through to, I don't know, various things like solving world peace and true democracy for our time, so that then we actually get to elect leaders that we actually want and to hold them accountable, rather than them just doing whatever they want once that we've put them in power. Those are some of the things that I do. My thing is called Kudos Miracles, and I have a separate thing which is called Democry. And really I'm about bringing a miracle to the world, which is what I do. But I'm just one part of the equation. I deal with many wonderful miracle friends that I have all around the world, like you, Cliff.
Love it. Love it.
No.
Yeah, I love the description. Thank you, my brother. And my first question I want to ask, you say people are the solution. Where did you come up with that conclusion? Where it just, was it an aha? Was it a consistent, like you kept sawing patterns? Like what did you see?
So long journey, really. Don't want to bore anybody with most of it, but there came a point where I realized that I was going to be the solution to my own problem. And by understanding that I am the only potential way to solve some of my problems, I could help to solve some of other people's problems. And then thinking outside the box and about the process that I use, I kind of figured out that we could get everybody to work together to solve the big problems. Very long trajectory that started with something entirely different to where I'm at now. But it all intermingles and is part of the journey and the process, right? For me, it was not an aha moment. It's a collection of many aha moments and things that have come to me in its own unique way.
Love it.
If that makes that vague enough for anybody.
Uh, to have one talk to you or what?
Mm. I can't hear you. I heard aha, but I presume that you don't want me to karaoke by
Okay. Can you hear me any better now?
Yes.
Any better now? Okay, sweet. I said, share one of those aha moments that you had before, or
Okay.
one that you would like to.
Sure. So let me talk about health for a moment. Our world is filled with a lot of people who are in pain, addicted to medication. They have long-standing health conditions that they get told are uncurable. For instance, type 2 diabetes. And some of the government and the health organizations benefit and prosper from the misery and the exploitation of people who have those types of conditions. One of my aha moments was the fact that I have a very rare form of type 1 diabetes. And like I said, in terms of figuring out how to solve my problem, I figured out how to help people with type 2 diabetes to really solve that problem for themselves. And beyond that, to be able to live a much more healthier and happier life. And not just type 2 diabetes, but obesity and things like that by thinking outside of the box. And really, the aha moment for that was a point of desperation, like it is for a lot of entrepreneurs. We're faced with a problem to solve. And finding that solution and being able to deliver that is what really makes us stand out from the crowd and be able to make a product or a service that actually does what people want. And that's the key to being an entrepreneur, right? Serve people. And thereby we get to people are the solution.
I love it. I love it. One thing that pops out into my head: serve people and they'll serve you.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
Does that mean something to you?
Yeah, like I've just been hosting a 2-hour Christmas event, which is filled with people from all around the world, all of whom are good friends of mine, and come together to celebrate, but also to understand the biggest problems in the world and to really think about how that solves their problem and the problems for other people. Let's just talk economically speaking for a moment. By serving people, by giving people what they want, you stand to supply what they demand. And in the middle, there is a price to pay. And I'm not saying that in some exploitative way, because that is not really change if we're going to continue exploiting people. But by thinking how we can best serve people, because people are the important thing in business, both customers and staff, and eventually the people at the top or the entrepreneur who's come up with such a thing. But by serving those people, by giving them what they actually want and need and desire, that makes our business flourish. And if we can change the world through business, because in many respects, the good causes of some of them and some of the people who are in charge of our communities, and even some of the leading lights in business, although they have their great traits and so many wonderful things about them, they don't solve the biggest problems for us. What if we figured out a way to solve those problems, and by the very effort of that and the result of that, to keep solving problems? Surely that would be a product, a service, a company that people would want to be repeat customers of, if not fanatical about using. I don't mean in the sense of Apple iPhones either. I mean really want the difference that that company makes, right?
And the biggest problems you need to what that I've taken from leadership is important of
You're not standing right then. Cliff, okay. When I was little, we had the TV and it didn't work very well because it had a wire coat hanger in it to get the signal. And we had to hold the thing and hold our finger in the back of the TV to get it to happen. I think that's what happened with your phone, right? You need to sort of stand there with your hands out on one side or something.
Is that any better? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go, quick.
All right. So, okay, when it comes to leadership, I talk about listening twice as much as I speak. And, as I've gone through my journey, I know how strong of a leader you are and what you're becoming. And I really, really value and respect you. So I want to ask you, what's the greatest leadership quality that you've gotten through your entrepreneurial journey?
It's exactly that. Is listening to people, right? By being able to give people what they want and need, what solutions they need, and what problems they have, you can only come to that through listening to people. I mean, I spoke about type 2 diabetes before, and part of that is because I was spending a lot of time in hospital with my own condition, which was very relative to what those people were going through. But those people were having operations to remove their feet, whereas I was just in there temporarily because my blood sugar was out of control. And seeing those problems and desperation of those people really comes down to listening to, they really wanted to see change in their lives, right? Through to even now, in my country in particular, we might as well talk about that rather than anywhere else. We're in a position where there are people in charge who are talking about limiting people's free speech and doing things to really curtail people's freedom to be able to choose who they want in leadership of our country. What people want is to be able to get back to their freedom of choice, to get back to what should be democracy. But that doesn't seem to exist in quite the right way in the world nowadays. And if we can solve that problem, and people really want to solve the problem of having leaders that actually do what they're supposed to do, and hopefully I can be a leader in the sense of what I do for people. But we think beyond what they do locally for their country, for example, in terms of leaders, and we think about the world. Now, I mentioned solving world peace. Well, imagine that we had a world that was actually paying attention to what people wanted, because people don't want their children to die in war. They don't want people to sacrifice their lives for what is supposedly democracy, and yet many people don't believe in that anymore because all of that is being taken away from people. So listening to people is essentially the key important part to understanding what they need. And that is the very purpose of an entrepreneur, right? Is to solve a problem and do that in the most effective, efficient, and best way that lights up people's lives. Because the more exciting and amazing that is for people, the more engaging it is, the more it actually solves their problem and some, and their family's problems, and their community's problems, and beyond that. Imagine a world that's filled with organizations that want to do those things rather than making as much money off of every sale that they do.
Mm-hmm.
Real change.
But
you're not standing right again.
Frozen position. I would like to get into what are your thoughts, personal development, and do you use personal development on your journey as you're going through this and you're creating this world where it is about the people and focusing on the people?
I think that I understood your question. To sort of what personal development traits, what things have I learned along the way? What do I use most in terms of being able to deliver on what I tried to do? I think that's what you wanted. In which case, that is personal development in every way, shape, and form. To be able to take a holistic approach to mind, body, spirit, and be able to take that on board with a view to what your purpose is. My purpose is very specific in terms of what I am doing and aim to do. And in order to deliver on that, I have needed to change my life physically. I've needed to change that mentally, and I've needed to change that emotionally. Then I show from when we used to do podcasts together, there was a time when it was very difficult for me to take on board some of the support and honesty of people, to realize that I'm a miracle as much as everybody else, because we are all miracles, right? I don't know if you remember that difficult period where I was going around saying you are the miracle, because I very much didn't value who I was at that point because of the journey that I'd been through. And part of that learning experience, personal development, has been to mentally get to a place of acceptance that I am part of this great community, part of friends and family like you, and not just emotionally, not just mentally, but physically as well. Some of our ability to work emotionally and mentally, and from what I learned from you, is really about making a difference physically to be able to deal with the rigors of getting through things, and adapting all of that together to really use those principles to defeat every barrier that is put in front of us, no matter how large or inconvenient it may be. Does that answer the question?
Love it. Yeah. And
Hey creators, founders, and dreamers, the FreeMind Network is brought to you by Cowabunga Johnny, where nostalgia meets creativity. Cowabunga Johnny creates custom cards that are perfect for personal keepsakes, team recognition, or even promotional items. These cards pop with personality and make an unforgettable impact. But that's not all. Cowabunga Johnny also crafts larger-than-life murals and nostalgic pop culture-inspired art. It's about connecting with your audience through bold, memorable visuals. Want to learn more? Visit cowabungajohnny.com and see how he's turning memories into art that connects. Let's create something amazing together.
yeah, and I do want to say, am I standing right? You can't hear me.
I can hear you now.
Okay. What is a miracle? And I love that you see that. So one of the easiest things, when people know who they are and the power there, can you?
Okay, I didn't really catch that.
I literally just said the greatest thing ever, and it's pausing. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh. Try for version 2 of the greatest thing ever. Make it even better, Cliff. Go on.
So what I said was, you are the miracle, and I'm glad that you saw that you're the miracle. And as I go through my journey, a reminder is that people know that they're the miracle. You know, deep down inside, they know that they matter. They know that their voice matters. They know that what they do matters. The actions they take matter, and the actions they don't take matter too. So 100% agree, and love the insight that you brought on there. And then what I would like to ask, since you are wearing the Santa hat, I want to know, do you have any big Christmas things that you're looking to do or celebrate? And also, how can people get a hold of you? And how can we celebrate you? Because I think celebration is nice.
Okay, that's a lot of stuff. Let's go through Christmas.
Killers in the jungle. Killers in the jungle. Yo, listen, you hear that? Killers in the jungle. Killers in the jungle. Killers in the jungle.
I only have a small brain. So Christmas things first. So this Christmas event, right, was about Kudos Miracles networking event changing Crisismas into Christmas. I don't know how familiar you are with the Crisismas phrase, but basically, for many people around the world, Christmas is no longer Christmas. It is a time of crisis, a time of desperation where it's difficult to feed their family, let alone give them gifts and buy a Christmas tree. because the Christmas tree presents that used to exist at the bottom of the Christmas tree have gone mostly to the top. I'm not talking about presents or parties. I'm talking about revenue and control and power, right? And those things have gone to the top of the Christmas tree. And you see the Christmas tree behind me that's on fire. And what's happening is the people at the top are really just burning through that stuff, and it's going to come to an almighty big bonfire. So what I would like for Christmas is to see a real world change where people realize again that they are the miracle, that they are part and parcel of making the change, and that by working together we will get that done. Of course, I would like a new razor, electric razor, because my skin's not that good. And I'm very soon going back to Africa, and that'll be another Christmas gift for me, which means that I can be warm and deal with some of those bodily pains that I have. So that's my Christmas all tied up. And hopefully, a bit like you there, I'll be able to celebrate Christmas on the beach in Uganda. So I'm very much looking forward to that. What was next on the agenda? There was a lot of questions.
Yeah, so how can people get a hold of you?
How to read. This Kudos Miracles thing is basically how to find me. I don't do much on Facebook, but you can type in Kudos Miracles and you'll find me. You can type that in on LinkedIn, which is where I do most of my things, and you'll find me. You'll see my mush. Or you can go to our website, which is simply www.kudosmiracles.com, and book a meeting, and we can have a chat, much like you and I did, Cliff, maybe 2 years ago now, something like that.
Yeah.
Have a chat and find out more about how we can solve the biggest problems in the world. What was the last thing? You wanted something else. How to celebrate me.
How do we celebrate you? Yes, sir.
If people want to come along to LinkedIn and connect with me and have a chat and find out about how to put a smile on their face, or find out how they want to be inspired to do something with my organization, that is how to celebrate me. Because by having those chats one-to-one and understanding what it is that I'm really up to, and understanding the deep and massive impact that would have. I mean, investment is one thing, but really return on investment is looking for the biggest opportunity that people really want to buy into, and that solves a problem that people have every single day, right? It's called the toothbrush analysis, and it's done by people like Google to try and find the best product or service that they can supply. And so they don't sell the best product or service. I have those things, and I have those things in not just one thing, but everything to change the world. So to celebrate me, have a chat and find out how to really go about changing the world and what we can do together to make that effectively happen. Much like any entrepreneur, I am doing the groundwork, and we talked about personal development. I'm doing the groundwork to get from starting point to where I want to be. And that takes some effort, both from me and other people, and many miracle people along the way. And what I'm looking to do is massive. So you want to find out about it? Have a chat.
Nice. Well, Matt, I appreciate you as always, sir. I wish Nate would have gotten a chance to talk with you, but that's going to be for another time. And yeah, love you and what you bring to the table, what you bring to the journey. And let's keep shining bright, my brother.
Exactly, my friend. Listen, I'm here because I celebrate you, because you are my brother, and we have spent long period of time together. And I fully respect and honor you for everything that I've learned about you along the journey. We don't spend as much time as what we might do together, but that's because we're both very busy people, right? That's one of the unfortunate things of modern day life and being an entrepreneur. But the love and the support is always there mutually. And so it's my honor and my pleasure to once again be with you.
Thank you. I appreciate you, my brother. All right. You all have an amazing day. Keep being great and keep putting in the reps in your life. And yeah, if you're looking to change the world, have a chat. I love it. All right. You have a great one, and I'll talk with you all soon. Take care.
Killers in the jungle. Killers in the jungle. Yo, listen, you hear that? Killers in the jungle. Killers in the jungle. Killers in the jungle.